Okay. Not this one is mine. But paid attendees, there's a few little rules, but you'll find out at the Materials Distribution Center, and I encourage you to stay here for the rest of the talk. Little incident we had 4 years ago. Okay, speaking of Internet Explorer, quick transition there. I just want to make sure you're all here. What I'd like to do is share a little bit of learning about building Internet Explorer and help you to see where we're heading with IE. So in terms of learning from Internet Explorer 8's product cycle, I think I want to talk about 4 things that are really important to us. First, we definitely learned the importance of responsible engineering. And whether it's security, reliability, backward compatibility, these things really continue to be top of mind for us in how we build the product. Even if it means how we do our security patches and Patch Tuesday, but making sure that we're a very reliable and responsible engineering partner in how we build the product. And taking very seriously the notion of putting software out on the internet for people to download and use, and making sure that that responsibility is something that we all have a shared view of. The trustworthy experience is one where it's very important to us that we have a browser that respects your privacy, your choice, and works super well in the way that you're in control of your browsing experience. In fact, when we look at many positive reviews that we've had of Internet Explorer 8, quite often some of the most highlighted features are those that we offer around privacy and trustworthy computing. And we're proud to continue to deliver on those features. We also think that we learned a great deal about real-world interoperability. So we all think very highly of standards, and we're very supportive of standards. And we also know that there's a balance between standards and real world, and making sure that we get the things done that you want to use in building your websites. And so we made a lot of advances in standards, and I think it's also fair to say that we have a lot of things that we want to do, that you've asked us to do, and that we need to do in building Internet Explorer. We also learned that it's important to balance the baseline with innovative technologies. And much like we talked about earlier, having a good balance between the things that we know we have to do and moving the whole notion of browsing forward. And all of these are really important to us because we intend to continue to make sure that Internet Explorer represents the very best browser for Windows, and that it represents the most world-class browsing and modern browsing experience that we can develop. And we're extremely committed to making sure that we deliver that to you in a responsible and trustworthy way as we continue to develop Internet Explorer 9. And so let me talk about an update for developing Internet Explorer 9. So we're about 3 weeks into the Internet Explorer 9 project since we just shipped Windows 7. And so I have only a small update of things to give you, but I want to make sure you understand that we're focused on these areas and that we're going to go and deliver them the way that I think you believe that we should deliver them. So the first is on standards. So there's been a lot of talk about standards. You know, we have a particular test, ACID 3, that we're not ahead of on, and we need to do a better job there. There are new and emerging standards that are still in committee, still in draft, still very early, like HTML5. And we want to be responsible about how we support that and also how we communicate what we're doing so that we don't generate a hype cycle for things that aren't there yet across the board for developers to take advantage of. We know that we have a lot of work to do on certain areas of performance. And I want to talk about JavaScript performance in particular, and I'll show some information about that. And then, like I said, we want to balance innovation with looking at the things that we know we need to do. So let's first talk about this ACID score, because it's something that we definitely have to go and improve. And 3 weeks into the project, I do want to share that we've made some improvements. We were at 20 with Internet Explorer 8, and we're already up to 32 on Internet Explorer 9. And we continue to invest in that and make sure that we can deliver what you believe is important for us to deliver there in terms of interoperability. On system performance, there's a lot of talk about script performance. But the way that we look at performance is it's a whole system-wide engineering challenge. So I have a chart here of 3 different sites. The first 2 are the Excel web app, and then the second 2, the second half are 2 different news sites. And this is a chart showing the percentage of time spent in a variety of IE subsystems. And you can see that different sites have different ways that they exercise or stress the Internet Explorer runtime. And so, for example, the Excel web app has two very different profiles of using script, which is the gray bar at the bottom, the first one, whether you're loading the spreadsheet or selecting it. And two news sites have almost a 50% difference in how much they use script. And so there's a wide variety of systems. And the rendering engine might be an important part. And we know that with 4 different rendering engines out there at least, plus all the mobile ones, that there's a lot of work that needs to go on across all the subsystems to make sure that a browser is highly performant. So let me show you a little bit about where we are on SunSpider, on WebKit SunSpider performance. So you see IE7. IE8, we're still an outlier on this particular benchmark, though almost all the reviews pointed out that in real-world browsing, actually Internet Explorer and the other browsers all were sort of on par. And so here we are today with IE9, and you can see that these are all just about the same. And I think that we're just 3 weeks into the project. These are actually the pre-release browsers that are out there. So it's Firefox 3.6, Chrome 4, and WebKit Nightlies. And so we're getting very close to all basically being a wash, because by the time you get down to this amount of performance, the other subsystems are really gonna dominate in terms of where the best places to improve are. And so that's a quick update in slides, but what I think I want to do is show you a quick demonstration of some of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm running our build that's about from, I don't know, yesterday. And this is we're hosting our rendering engine, Trident, inside of a test frame. And so this is just our way of pushing our rendering engine during the course of developing the product. So I have a few things that I want to show you. And down here is the CPU meter. That's going to become important down the road. But just for really quick, I want to go ahead and click on the ACID3 test. And I'm just going to go ahead and run it, and so that everybody can see we have a big fail word up there, and we're going to have to keep working on that. But I just wanted to make sure that I didn't show you something that was just in slides. And here we are at 32. So we're going to keep working on that and keep pushing that work. But there's a lot of other things in HTML5, CSS3. So here's a CSS selectors test. So this is a third-party test that goes and runs using CSS DOM selectors. And so here you are. We've passed 572 out of 578 of these with our build that's 3 weeks old. And you can see which ones we've passed and not. And so there's more stuff that we've advanced quite a bit just in the past few weeks. But I also want to talk about the role that hardware plays, and also doing a great job of making sure that the standards we push are real-world things that developers really want. I think everybody wants rounded borders. And they're kind of a pain or impossible to do today. So here we are going to show you a couple of examples of borders. So you see us animating the border. You'll notice that a lot of these are done in percentage pixels or in fractional pixels, animated with radiuses. And here we can cycle the border style. Whee! And so you too can have these on your site using the IE9 rendering engine. So a great deal that Mike talked about has been hardware and graphics. And so one of the things that we're going to do in Internet Explorer is make sure that when you build your site, that you pick up the performance gains and quality gains that come from rendering on modern hardware without changing anything in your site. So these pages I'm going to show you are running regular straight HTML, CSS on top of Internet Explorer 9's rendering engine, which is itself rendering through the DX family of graphics. So hardware-accelerated rendering across the rendering of Internet Explorer. So here's just some straight text. So I think you'll agree that just looking at this text, the text over on this side over here, rendered through direct write in D2D, is way, way clearer. And so browsers have a lot of text in them, and so being able to